Hey, this is Mike and Sean with Talking Tickets. We're back again, talk about the big heritage auction and much, much more. Sean, good to see you again. How's it going?
It's been a week? Exactly a week?
This might be the shortest time between two shows.
Yeah.
Stuff going on.
Yeah, I was tempted to get the watermelon margarita going.
That might have to be a weekly tradition with the watermelon margarita at the end of the show.
We got to get that recipe again.
Yeah, I think also with summer we got I know I got more free time right before Labor Day hits, but yeah, it's been good. I know the Heritage Auction was the big ticket story of the week.
Yeah. Did you? So you had several actual items in the auction.
I had about 8 items. We'll touch upon a few of them. You know, some bigger ones. You know, the biggest one was the Akeem debut. Overall, my opinion personally for my listings, I was content with what I got, especially for the Akeem. Some other ones I may have kept if I knew what they went for. But overall, I thought it was pretty solid. If I was to give kind of a comment on the auction, I would call it solid. How about
Is that just from your listings, or are you saying?
I would say overall.
Yeah.
Everything like the market, it feels like it's kind of stabilizing, even though, you know, there are some things that are kind of, you know, randomly high or low. But some tickets I was keeping an eye on about, I'm really curious to see if this falls through the floor or where it ends.
That's kind of the take I had too. It's almost like it's starting to get more predictable a little bit. Maybe it's not that. Obviously, there's several examples that are outliers, but it seems like things are starting to settle down, and this auction was a good example, I guess.
Yeah, let's might as well dive right in. Let's take a look and get over. So I organized this by most expensive to least expensive for the ticket sales. The first one was the auto Jordan. I don't know what your thoughts on that one was. It was kind of a cool ticket, but I didn't love the auto, and with it being a blue and white, I can kind of see why it didn't do anything crazy. I mean, it still did 78,000, which is a hell of a number. But
I don't know. You know, I'm not real familiar with Jordan autographs, but a lot of them that I've seen are in pen like that. Is that just how he signs?
I don't know. That's kind of what was my take of the auto. It was just like, man, it's just kind of.
It's not very attractive, is it?
Yeah, I think that the eye appeal just didn't win out. And that's kind of the thing. You know, of course, the Jordan auto makes it way more expensive, but you know, if you're not going to get a really cool auto on a ticket, I'm almost in the man.
Yeah, I think
I'd rather have the ticket, but of course, this is way more valuable.
There's a couple of things about this one. First, it seems like maybe it was depressed a little bit because of the Jordan debut fatigue that we've had all year long. Just so many Jordan debuts.
How many you would think we've had in the last 9 months? Sale.
It seems like 30. maybe that's too many, but it feels like that many. But the other thing that maybe might be a little bit of a takeaway from this is the autograph ticket might be not as because I feel like if this sold back in February, it would have gone for 200,000, maybe 3.
Yeah, maybe it might be a little high, but I'm thinking at least 6 figures. You know, and then who knows, when the Brady was going for 120 and 40, well, of course, a Jordan would be right in that ballpark.
Right.
And, you know, you're talking about the Jordan fatigue. I mean, just in this auction alone, you know, you had the 3 non-autoed, you had an authentic altered, you had the Ticketron version, and you had a preseason version also go. But it kind of gives you an idea of, you know, what basically the Jordan debuts. You know, the 3 went for 25. I would think would have gone for double at least 6 months ago. This altered authentic 11,000. This Ticketron 2, 14. So it's, you know, I guess if you go by the grades, it kind of lined up as you would expect.
Yeah, it's interesting. It seems like kind of the ones that we see a lot of are the ones that are we can compare and say, okay, the market has gone down, but the ones we don't see a lot of, they seem to be really strong still.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big reason these Jordans are down is there's just so many that's come out. If you compare it to, I pulled one up from, February 23, 2020, a two blue and white went for 16,000. It's still above
Yeah.
what this one went for, but it kind of gives you an idea when,
And that was well below before the bubble hit.
right before the,
February.
the super boom, that
Mhm.
was kind of where things were slow and steady increasing,
Yeah.
not until the craziness happened.
Yeah. And that's what was that, a 3?
That was the 3.
Yeah. So I mean, 2 years later, well, 2.5 years later, it's gone up. If you look at those two data points.
Right. Another one, this wasn't really a ticket. That was kind of cool. The Tiger Woods board. It was 69,000, which is pretty awesome.
The whole board. Wow.
This is one I was watching a lot too, because this one has been very much like the Jordan. There's probably been 10 of these sell in the last 9 months. Is that would be your guess?
Yeah, at least. Yeah, 10, around 10. And that's the other thing too. This just yesterday the Leland's auction launched, so you could view everything in there, and they have 2 of these that are pretty good looking too. So I don't know if that affected it at all.
Well, I thought this was a solid price, not great, but not horrible. I mean, 49,000 is not anything to sneeze at. I know these things have kind of gone down to as low as 25 for like a authentic or a 1. And with all of them coming out, you got to figure sooner or later these are going to get exhausted. But I think people are digging them out. Anybody who has one's putting them up for sale now to get that money.
I think I said to someone before this auction started that I would expect it to go for 40 to 60, and so it was right in there.
Right. I think a lot of these tickets are in the ballpark of what we thought. The next one, the Babe, that was one of the more unique ones that we haven't seen. The Babe bows out.
Yeah.
Full
tickets. I actually thought that one would go for more.
These are ones that's hard to say because you've never seen one go for auction, and that's why I think when you sell one, you gotta put it up at auction to see what happens.
Yeah. This is another one that if it would have sold back in February, it probably would have been 6 figures, because it's so unique and it has such a great story behind it. I wonder the difference between a full and a stub, and there's a lot of debate there, but if you're kind of a purist in that you like that the ticket was at the game, this is certainly one of those that you would have wanted it to be, because that was the whole point. So this ticket wasn't at the game when the Babe bowed out, and so I wonder if maybe that there's people who are turned off by that a little bit, who are ticket purists like me. Who knows?
Had the Wilt program, not really a ticket, but that was I thought a pretty solid price for the program. What'd you think of this is a really cool ticket, man. It's such a nice Muhammad Ali auto. I don't know if there's been any of these go, but this was a big number, $33K for a Muhammad gold medal ticket.
Yeah, it's in great condition too. What's the grade on it?
It's a 10 auto, a 3 ticket. I mean, it's pretty dang rock solid. And that's what I think about. This is another of all these ones we've looked at, like not mind blown by the price, but not rock bottom price, just like good solid prices for what we've seen the last year or two.
Yeah.
Now this one actually blew me away. Maybe this is because a lot of people wanted it, and I feel like I've seen a good 7 or 8 sell in the last year. But if you asked me before what this was going to go for, I would have said 15. I put my bid in at 62.50. 15, 18 goes for 32,000.
It's a really nice copy, though. I know that the grade is, what is it, a 1.5, but eye appeal wise, this one has everything, and a lot of them don't. A lot of them are kind of rough. And this is one of the nicer ones that I've seen, just in terms of eye appeal. I don't know the technical grade. I don't know why it's so low, but I think that had to do with it. But yeah, there's a lot of people chasing this one right now, and I don't know. It only takes 2 or 3 that really want it.
Man, it just went
drive up the
crazy, and I was like, dang, I was hoping to snag this for half the price at the most, and I saw this get into about 15K and checked out pretty quick. And
this is one of those crazy ones that a year, 2 years ago, it would have been $4,000.
Yeah, I think I had. Let me see if I can find some old ones. Yeah, but that was basically what they were going for, was about $3,000. Okay, here's some old sales. One went for 16K in May, keeps going up and up. I think there was another one on here's December 12th, 2020 authentic, 3,000. So that kind of gives you an idea, right before the boom.
Right.
You could have snagged this for 3,000, not as nice, but now we're talking, 10x, 30,000 plus.
Yeah. This is actually one of those that there is a number of them out there. There's actually another one coming up in Heritage's next auction. So It wouldn't surprise me if we started seeing a lot of them pop up because the value has gone up so much. And
yeah, that's kind of what made me hesitate from, really going to the moon on some of these, because I feel like there's still a lot more tickets that are going to be pulled out from people's collections. Still haven't been graded. The ones that have been at PSA for over a year are starting to come back, and who knows what people are going to have. So it's kind of hard to really pull the trigger and go crazy on some of these tickets, especially if you feel like
that's how I felt too. I didn't actually win anything in this auction. I was bidding on 3 or 4 different ones that I really liked, but I didn't love them. And I always have to remind myself that there'll be another auction. There's going to be more tickets out there, and Heritage will have another auction. There's Leland's and REA has an auction coming up, and there's always going to be something out there that you want. And so if you're not just absolutely in love with it, it's okay to just pass and not get caught up in the FOMO of it.
Yeah, for sure.
I had to talk myself off of it last night, a couple of them.
I know people are kind of coming in with comments or questions. I'll probably get to those at the end of the show. Pele, we've seen a million of these. 32K, PSA 5.
Yeah, driven by. Well, I guess it's like what Mark was talking about last week, where if there's a lot of them out there and it's a desirable ticket, then it's going to be the premium is going to be on the high grade, and that makes sense. And this one's a really, really, really nice one, so 32,000. Yeah, and maybe that's where it's at now. But that's one that is just all over the board, and there's several examples in this auction, right? That were, a huge range of prices.
Right, and here's a good one. These called shots tickets have gone crazy too. PSA 3, freaking called shot 31K. When 2 years ago, you could have snagged this ticket. I think I was at the show in Chicago 3 or 4 years ago, and I saw PSA 2 or 3, and the guy wanted like $3,500 for it.
Yeah, I know. That's and exactly the same as the Pele. There's over 100 of these that are graded, so it's not a super scarce ticket, but then it comes down to who has the best grade. It's kind of like that mantle, that 52 mantle that just sold for $12 million. It's the best grade, or almost the best grade.
Super premium. Yeah, and I think this is the best ticket in the hobby. And personally, I think it checks every box out there, and that's why I think it's people really want it and they want to collect it and hold it, and it's just really
and obviously people want a premium grade version also, and that's what is driving these.
I was going to ask you about this one, the Jeter. I feel like you're the baseball debut expert. Get your thoughts on that one.
Compared to recent sales, this was a bargain, because it was only a couple of months ago that I think a box office stub sold for over 20,000, and this is a full PSA 9 season ticket version. So, if you're comparing to that, this is just a great deal. But if you're comparing it to, the market 2 years ago, it's really, really, really expensive for, a ticket that there's not a ton of them out there, but it's not super scarce. But with this grade, it probably is. A PSA 9 that's incredible. So overall, I would say it was I hate to say this about Jeter, but it was probably a good buy.
Yeah, I think it looks great for a road ticket. Sometimes you get these tickets for the guys on the road, and there's no logo or anything with the team, but this one actually is like, okay, if I'm a Yankee guy, I can put this up on my shelf and be like, oh yeah, it's Jeter's debut, Yankees, love it.
Yeah, so it's a good one. I think it's in keeping with where the market is for debuts right now. Overall.
But I think that's another great sale. If the sky was falling and all hell was breaking loose and the bottom was falling out of this market, I think you would see this go for something like 8 or 10 or 12. But for these to go in the 30s and 40s and 50s still, I think the market's finding its footing. It's pretty strong actually. I was a little surprised by some of these higher sales. Looked at that one. This was a cool ticket. I love this one. It's one of my favorite, at least college tickets. It was the panel. It went for $22K. Heck, I don't know if that was a great deal, but I think that's one of the coolest college tickets out there.
Yeah.
The Jordan Bird ticket. This was an interesting one. What do you think of this one? The Curry debut box office.
Yeah. We've talked about this with the more modern tickets and being careful because it is possible. And I know that people say that this isn't true with Curry, but it's possible that there's brokers that are sitting on stacks of these, and it only takes one, small stack of these to hit the market that would completely depress this. But that hasn't happened, and there's only a few that are even known. So
I always hear, so and so's got X, sitting on them, but we haven't seen any.
Yeah, and you'd think we would, right?
Sooner or later, a couple of these ones would come for sale, like the season ticket version. I mean, I don't know if I would, even I'm a huge Curry, I don't know if I'd pay this, given it's not a season ticket version, and people's talk of there's others out there that haven't seen the light of day, but it is Curry, and I think he's going to be, Curry for an NBA collector. It's got to be in all-time top 5 when it's all said and done with Jordan, Bird.
You think so?
I think when it's all said and done, it's kind of a change the game guy. Little kids love him. I think when all the little kids get older now and they're in their 30s and 40s.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
When they have money to burn, kind of like our age, people love Griffey and some of the other younger guys.
Yeah,
I think Curry will be a huge.
See, I don't actually follow the NBA close enough to know for sure or to even speculate on that kind of thing. So I kind of stay away from it. I obviously know Steph Curry, but where he fits in the legacy of NBA players, it's kind of hard.
I think he'll be, I think will be up there. It's just, with his change in the game and the little kids just, man, if you ever go to a Warriors game on the road, when they come to Dallas, it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many little kids with Curry jerseys on. It's
yeah, that's an interesting take because that is exactly what's going to drive it in
when they get older.
When they're all adults and they're going to want everything related to Steph Curry, just like I am with Ken Griffey Jr.
This was a cool one. There's a lot of these out there. I guess it's the highest graded, the Beatles final ticket. It's a cool looking ticket. I know the Elvis final, that was kind of the equivalent, went for 38 in kind of the bubble period. But this was I thought a damn good price for a concert ticket. It's pop 4, none superior 8. There's different colors. I'm kind of into these tickets. There's different variations, basically different colors, but I wasn't going to spend that kind of money on that ticket. And you're not much of a concert guy, right?
Yeah, I don't really follow this. This one, if it's a full ticket and it's a PSA 8, obviously it wasn't at the event, or it was just in the box office or something. What's the population like on those?
They're not too high. I feel like there's a lot ungraded though. I would, if I had to guess and look up, I don't want to look at it, but I would say less than 20 or 30, something like that for all the different colors.
That's
there's
a good
7 different colors. But for fulls, I don't know how many fulls, how many stubs, that kind of thing.
It's something to think about. It feels like, I don't know for sure because I don't really know, concert ticket collectors very well, but it seems like sports tickets are more likely to be graded. So concert tickets, there might be a lot of fulls out there. So or a lot of raw tickets out there. So relying on the pop report is kind of risky. Maybe.
Right. Yeah, just like anything. Yeah, I think that's a kind of a good take on. There'll definitely be more hitting the pop reports. Yeah, I feel like if you're a Kobe guy, you got to own. If you're a true diehard Kobe collector and you're even kind of a ticket guy, I feel like something like this is something you need to own.
Yeah.
18K, PSA 5, Auto 8. I was never a Kobe fan, but something like this is I would have in a heartbeat if I was a diehard.
I agree, and that's something that appeals across collectors too. If you're a Kobe collector, whether it's ticket, like you said, you don't even have to be a ticket collector. You're going to want that one if you're a Kobe fan.
I know there are a bunch of older baseball tickets. Did you really dive into any of the Shoeless Joe tickets or this like 07 World Series Game 4 full?
Yeah, I was interested in the first home run, but I don't know. It wasn't high on my list. The World Series, the old World Series tickets it seems like they're really, really starting to catch fire just because they're a lot more difficult to find. And this is a good example of that 15,000, because the old World Series tickets before, say, 1930, they get pretty difficult compared to, in the 40s and 50s and 60s. So
yeah, and that's something Mark touched on, and I noticed at the show, just older, vintage old baseball, and he said even World Series tickets were really popular, and I think this auction's kind of showing with the the called shots, some of these World Series,
there was one tickets. It's a ways down on the list because I think it ended at like 3,000 or something, 3 something, but it was the Mordecai Brown versus Christy Mathewson's final.
Yeah, what was the thing with that ticket? What
it was a really cool ticket for a couple of reasons. One, because it was just a couple of veteran pitchers who 3,600. So a couple of veteran pitchers who were at the end of their career and both basically faced off in one last game, and basically it was batting practice that they were throwing because they gave up 34 hits between them. Both pitched complete games, and it was Christy Mathewson's last victory and both of their last appearances.
Wow, and that's a cool ticket.
It is a cool ticket, and I was really close to placing a bid on it to extend it again, but I decided
you bailed out. You came in second on that one.
And the reason, okay, first of all, the other cool thing about this one is it's rare that you find ordinary season game tickets that are over 100 years old and they have the exact date on them.
Right.
And this one's really cool in that way. Couple that with it being an important event because it was Mathewson's last win. So in that way, it was really a cool ticket. It's right up my alley. But the only thing that I hesitated was that it just doesn't really fit my collection anywhere. So I, it just couldn't bring myself to.
Come on, Sean, value.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not, it's kind of a niche ticket because it doesn't appeal to a large audience, just kind of vintage baseball collectors. And I don't know. That is me though. Maybe I should have.
I want to give a shout out to Steve. He thought the Kobe ticket, I'm pretty sure that's what he's mentioned, was amazing. Good to meet Steve at the show, but put that out there. All right. The next one, the greatest ticket in the whole auction. The best. So this was mine. Put it up there, got it out of that bargain bin box I bought at the show. So that worked out very well. I was hoping it'd go for like 8 to 10 or 12. I thought it could go for that much. I didn't think no way it'd go for more than like 20. But I was happy with this one.
Yeah, I think that is in line with where the market was, and we kind of talked about it before, and it was a couple of months ago. Was it a couple of months ago when you got it, or maybe a month ago or something?
Like 3 or 4, I think. About 3 months ago.
And at that time, I was thinking right around 15,000 probably. But then it kind of, especially when it was sitting there so long in the 3 range, not a lot of action on it.
Right.
Kind of think, okay, well, maybe the market has shifted even more. But
and that's the crazy thing about these auctions, man. It nothing means anything until extended bidding.
yeah,
Like you could look at your auction and say, man, I'm not getting anything for this ticket. And then it just goes crazy.
yeah, especially with Heritage, it seems.
Yeah, it's wild. But happy, thank whoever bought that. Great ticket.
Yeah.
Celebrity signing. He sure stuck it to you on that bargain bin by LOL. Said he ripped me off.
The
seller.
The Griffey debut, that is down. So Griffey debut with an autograph. There was one that sold for 40-something thousand. I forget what auction.
No auto, 40K, right?
Well, yeah, I don't remember. Was it?
I looked it up earlier. It was. I'm almost positive it was a no auto for 40K at the peak of the insanity.
Okay.
And then this one is actually a flip. I found it. It was sold a little over a year ago for 15K. And then this one was sold for 12.6. So pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really interesting. That's so why do you think people do that?
I mean, I think they're trying to make a buck, you know, a quick flip, or they maybe liked it and they think they can get more for it. You know, this is like right up a speculator's alley. You know, the debut, the card collector speculator loved that, autoed. And, you know, they may have thought, you know, after seeing a Griffey go for 46,000, they're probably like, hell yeah, we're going to cash in on this. And then they, you know, sold it 6 months too late and they lost a couple grand on it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I think, as a, you know, just an observer, that Griffey private signing, there, you know, a lot of Griffey tickets got signed. And so you would just assume that there's kind of the market's fulfilled now and that you're not going to see these outrageous prices for that. That 12.6 is probably right in line with where it should be right now.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of normal. You know, you talk about you know, signings. I have an Elway debut that I just got signed, and I've seen 3 other people posted on. You know, I got an Elway debut sign. I was pretty happy with it. Could have came out a little better with the ink. But I've seen 2 or 3 people just post theirs that were signed because the Elway signing stuff came back. So now you're going to see, you know, more hit the market.
Right.
This debut, I thought it went for a little low. I guess the ticket's so like bland and ugly, maybe. And here's a good example.
One similar to that sold on eBay, I think, for over $3,000 not too long.
And to be honest, I think I might have bought this at this price. And then if you kind of compare it to the Dan Marino ticket, which I'd much rather have an Elway debut. And plus this Marino's a Raiders, it's a 3. And
but that's a full.
It's a full. I guess, you know, there's fulls out there. I
have a full of that.
Yeah, and they're not that rare, but I feel just Marino, I don't know. I was a little surprised by that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like Elway's definitely had the greater career than Marino.
Yeah, won championships.
Yeah. Here's an interesting one. I thought this was really random. So we saw this on Golden, right? Here's another odd comparison. Tell me if I'm wrong about this. First ever meeting between Wilt and Bill Russell, I believe it was the preseason, 12 grand, right? Authentic. And then I did a little research. This thing sold, same damn thing sold 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago for $3,900. Isn't it the same? It's the same thing, right?
Is it the same ticket?
Not the exact same ticket, but
let's see the other one again. Oh, this is
different tickets.
So the other one's it's listed as a full, but it's not.
Okay, so that's the only difference.
Oh, stub and a full. It's a stub, yeah. Yeah, stub.
I was like, man, that's a major price difference, even though it is a stub and a full. I thought that was a big jump.
Yeah, I know this one's. I don't know the full story behind that one, but I know it's a pretty highly prized ticket for a lot of collectors. That one, I'm not sure what it is. It's something more than preseason though, but maybe somebody in the comments can help us with it.
All right, keeping on going through. We looked at the John Madden final tip. That was kind of an interesting one. His last airplane
Yeah.
flight went for 11. I saw Ravel. That's right up his.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought of too when I saw that. Seems
So
like
this is one I really wanted, but I couldn't pull the trigger on it, and I don't know why. I guess it did go for 10Ks, which is quite a bit, roughly 10. This is the Jordan flu game ticket. I've been looking one forever, and it's a forward, and it's a full. Maybe I should have because I had money from the sale. I feel like more of these are going to get pulled out. There's only like 4 on the pop report, which I find like ridiculous. 6 or 8 total, maybe less than 10 stub and full. Somewhere around that range. So I want to pick up a one eventually, but I was like, man, should I have bought this? Or I don't know. I know you're not an NBA guy, but I've been wanting a flu ticket for a while.
Yeah, it seems like those are pretty hyped up. But it's hard to gauge because anything Jordan, there's some things where it's never going to go down. But then Jordan was obviously a lot more hyped right when COVID started than he is now. So hard to gauge.
I thought that was a great ticket. Whoever got that one, I don't know what the future holds value wise. Now this one went for less than I think people were thinking. It was the LeBron debut full 6.
Yeah. It seems like that's kind of a theme for this auction. The full tickets were not as they didn't fetch as much of a value premium or cost premium that the other ones might have, or that they might have earlier in the year, because this was what, 40,000 a few months back.
Well, I think one went for an 8, went for 20 some thousand. Like this is the one. The full 7 went for 20K like a week ago. It's kind of example where like, yeah, there's a good steady solid market, but then there's some things that are just kind of all over the place. Where a 7 goes for 20, and then this debut goes for 9. I think it's maybe a little bit of seeing Jordan debuts, and there's more fulls out there than you think for this ticket. So I don't know. But
and what was it? Not too long ago that a stub would have come close to that price.
Yeah, it would have been right in that ballpark. Some Tiger debuts. I kind of like these actually. A Tiger badge sign. It's not really my thing. Here's the second best ticket in the auction. This one was mine also. The Peyton debut. I sold this because I'm not like a huge debut guy, and I am all about. I really into the visual of a ticket, and this is just straight box office, but it's a 10. I know people love 10s.
Yeah.
Hell, if you want to crack it and get the sign and roll the dice, go for it. That'd be a pretty sweet looking. I think those are my favorite tickets to get signed, are the box office horizontal ones. I bought this ticket, I think, for $100 on eBay about 3 years ago, raw.
So you must be happy with that.
It's when they weren't grading Ticketmaster tickets,
right.
PSA.
Yeah.
And somebody just sold it. I can't remember. It was like $200 or $300.
Yeah.
And then so
you got a 10.
Yeah, I got a 10. And I was like, holy cow, I got a 10. And then we've been held on to it, trying to figure out what to do with it. Box office game 6. I thought that was a pretty damn good price. I know this is a full, but man, I'd rather have a stub of the season ticket holder version than a full of the box office. But some people are into different things.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was a lot of what I saw, and kind of in some of the ones that I was bidding on too, is the eye appeal. Eye appeal to me is everything, and the technical grade, it's secondary, and part of the eye appeal is the box office versus the season ticket version, and the season ticket version is always superior to me.
Right. Even you like LeBron, like Steve mentioned, the LeBron ticket is not very attractive. I mean, maybe it's me, but it's a bit ugly. That's the one with the baby, but you kind of like the baby, right?
I like the baby. I like the baby because it's a reminder that tickets were not produced to be collected. They were produced to be discarded. And, if it was produced to be collected, then it wouldn't be some season ticket holder's baby on such an important ticket. But so I just think that's kind of a cool part of it.
Pete Rose debut. I know there's some out there, 7,500. What do you think of that price?
That's pretty spot on. I think. I know that they went a little higher, but this is probably where it should be. I'm not big on Pete Rose, but and this is an opening day ticket, so opening day tickets are generally a little more available. But it seems like a lot of Pete Rose has been popping up lately. If he ever does get in the Hall of Fame, that's a great deal.
I think this was Mark's tickets. The Jim Brown. I think a little surprising. Go for more. 7,200. I'm sure. I don't know if he's happy or not with that.
Yeah, that's about what I would have guessed it. What would you have said?
I guess I was thinking about some older ones, but maybe I guess that is about right. Now that I look at it, in May one went for 7,300.
Mm-hmm.
An autoed one went for 9,700. So I guess that is about right. I don't know. For some reason I had like Jim Brown in my memory is more iconic, but I guess that's a fair ballpark price.
Yeah.
Shoeless Joe first home run. Those older baseball 6,300 PSA.
Yeah, there were several from that where Mark was talking about that last week where somebody found a book of that season and It happens to be Shoeless Joe Jackson's first, or a lot of his first home run, his first double, I think, his first stolen base.
Yep, here's one.
Yeah, so really cool tickets. I mean, I really thought maybe I should have gone for one, but I don't know. I was just talking myself out of everything. I don't have anything Shoeless Joe Jackson, and this would have been a good opportunity because you're not going to see this type of thing where there's so many of those available to where the market might be pushed down a little bit. So to those who got them, probably a really good move.
We got Brady college debut. Oh, man, these aren't my things, college debuts, but it was the highest one, $6,000, man. Full ticket, I guess,
Yeah.
Power to you.
See that a lot, don't you?
First night game, 5,600. That interests you at all? I
already have one.
Oh.
So I was interested in it to see where it went, and that was a good price. It was pretty in keeping with where I thought the market was for that particular.
What about this one? I figure like something like this would be up your alley. Hank Aaron hit number one. Hank Aaron final game.
I already have that one too. Except for I don't have the final hit or the final game, which I'd never seen one of those. So I don't know if that drove the value of this or the first hit, because the first hit, I don't know, when it wasn't very. It definitely wasn't this price when I got mine. I think I paid about $800 for mine.
I thought those were pretty cool tickets. Now this is another one of mine, and I kind of I wish I would have held on to this one. Lewis Hamilton's debut. I think it's a cool looking ticket. He's kind of iconic. F1's growing. I almost salute anybody who bought this because I think it was worth the buy. More of like a buy and hold and see what happens. I feel like more of these are going to hit the market. When I got 5,100, I think I bought it for like $3 raw, so I can't complain. But in reality, I wish I would have just held on to it.
Yeah, tough to gauge whether F1 is here.
Yeah, it's like it's not my thing, but I don't know how big it's going to get. But it is. I think it has that appeal. Jackie Robinson first home run, home opener.
See, that's one that I was really tempted on, and I just couldn't pull the trigger on the final bid. But for two reasons.
Again?
Yeah, two reasons I decided against it. One is there's no date on it, and going back to eye appeal. That's one of the eye appeal things that bothers me when there's no date on a ticket. Right. Sometimes it's really easy to date even if there is no date, but this one I wasn't sure about, although PSA recently slabbed it, so I'm pretty confident that they know what they're doing. The older ones, PSA undated, are a little more risky. You really need to be careful of that. But then the other side of this, the back of it has paper residue on it. And so that's the other eye appeal issue that I had with this. And that I could remove pretty easily. But then I would have to crack it open and then contact PSA and let them know that I opened it up. And then the question would be, would that then be altered? And I don't know if you've seen it, but PSA now sometimes lists a ticket as altered. And I don't know what that means, but if it means that you changed it in a way that improved its grade, then technically that's altering it, right? What do you think?
I guess, but if you're getting the scrapbook material off it, it's kind of one of those gray areas. I almost think they should let that.
Because I can't stand scrapbook stuff on a ticket.
Right.
If it has the page on it, I really, really dislike that.
I mean, I don't think it would be altered because you're taking off stuff that was added onto it that wasn't part of its original.
That's kind of how I feel about it, but I don't know if that's how, given that they already designated it as a glue residue on the back, which it's in the pop report listed as that, and then I took that off and made it look nice, would they then have a problem with that? I don't know. So that was the other issue that I had with it and why I decided against it.
Here's another good example. There's a lot of these out there. If you're going to get one, probably needs to be a 10 if you really want to hold long-term value. I mean, that's pretty, 4,600.
Yeah. That's
I thought that was
higher than I thought it would be.
Pretty solid price. Jackie Robinson, final game. That's kind of a cool ticket. Japan. Jeter, first game at Yankee Stadium, 4,200.
Yeah, is a first home game? Is that worth that much? I thought that was really high.
I thought it was high too, in Yankee Stadium debut. But I guess if you're a big Jeter guy, it is a full and it's really nice.
Yeah.
So maybe we've seen Pele's for days. Mattingly debut, 4,000, not bad.
Pretty high. Is it? But
Sean, what happened?
Yeah, this was another one I had to talk myself out of, and it gets back to full versus stubs, and we've talked about this before, and I think when Ravel was on, he mentioned it a little bit, but I don't really have a preference. I prefer, given the value difference, I prefer stubs because I just want a copy of it. But I already have a stub, and it's the highest graded stub of this. So, if I didn't have that, then I would have won this. I would have been very aggressive on this one. Maybe not won, but I would have really wanted this one. But I already have a stub, so that kind of fills that spot. And so I did bid on it, and I did have, I think I went to, maybe I was the underbidder or one below that. I don't remember, but yeah, I decided to not go any further.
Yeah, it's a cool ticket.
Yeah, it's a rare one. This is the first one I've seen.
Jackie, final last game for MLB, 3,900 highest grade. That's another good example of something that, highest grade is going to get the premium. Except I have to go on my soapbox, like what the hell happened here? Here's a good example. I had a ticket. Jackie Robinson's World Series debut. Let me find it. Here it is. Right? 3,000.
And that was yours?
That was mine. Sold it. I was listed. Thought it would go a little higher. And the crazy thing is I sold a 4 for like 11,000 at the peak of craziness. But there was another one out there. Let me see if I can find it. This one went for more. Went for 3,600. Mine's like way better. It's like, what the hell? Explain that one.
Is there like a seating number or something that's significant on it?
I don't know. But I was like, whatever. I guess I can't complain too much, but that's kind of the quirkiness of auctions sometimes. You just never know what the hell's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, mine's way better. And I'm not into World Series debuts, but it's just a better ticket. So I thought it should have went for more.
Yeah, that's kind of unusual.
What else we got? The Mordecai game, Christy Mathewson. We're kind of getting down. We're seeing these. Man, I always said if this Giannis ticket was a Bucks ticket and it was cool looking, I think they would definitely go for more. PSA 10, 3,200, but I think the optics of it just kind of, does not help. The Jordan.
That minor league Jordan debut was one that I was also interested in, but again, came up empty. This is another example of when I would prefer the stub. I would prefer to pay less for the stub than to have a full. So maybe.
Yeah, I think to each their own. For me, the full stub, the full version of this, when they rip it in half, would look way better than the stub. But sometimes the full and the stub don't really look that much different, other than a little extra tab on the end.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on the John Elway one, because it doesn't even have a date or anything on it.
Right.
But if it was the full, it would have all the information. So if ripping it takes all that information off, then I'd definitely rather have the full.
Durant full, $3,000 box office. That Durant, man. This is a great example. Like Curry and Durant. Durant may go down as a better player when it's all said and done than Curry, but Curry's just going to get so much more hobby love. It's not even funny because he's just beloved, and Durant is not beloved.
So it's a personality thing?
Oh, without question. And plus, Curry stayed at one place the whole time, and Durant bounces around and complains about everything. Getting down, we're kind of rolling through this. Been quite a lot. Man, it's a big auction. Sandy Koufax perfect game. I think it's a great ticket. There's just a lot of them out there. But if you're a Koufax guy, it's kind of hard not.
You have to have it, yeah.
Yeah, this is a great ticket. Tiger Woods debut. That's kind of what these things went for a year ago.
Yeah.
So it's a full authentic.
What was the high one?
Like the full eights are going for like 90, 100,000. Like the highest grades would probably be half that, if that today.
But this is probably one that was graded early, or what? Or no?
It wasn't. It wasn't graded early. It was just
so it's actually authentic. Like, is there paper
loss? There's a crease in it,
but still, that should have a grade.
Yeah, you would think somebody would grade it, but maybe it doesn't have a crease. But that's a good example of how the lower end stuff is kind of held up. But there ain't no way a Tiger PSA 8 full would go for 100,000 again.
Yeah.
But the lower end stuff is kind of been pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're getting under a lot of these. Now we're looking at sub 1,000. This was mine. This was part of a test for me. I wanted to see how high this would go if I got a badge and graded it, and see if it would get 1,500, 2,000. I went for 1,000. A raw one of these goes for like 500, 600. So, it's not like this huge markup. I think you really got to get a 10 to see crazy prices. Because like I said, if there's a lot of them out there, you need to get that high price. Was there any other ones you wanted to see or talk about on here?
I think we covered everything that I was interested in or bidding on or had a comment on. The only so I didn't win anything, and I'm at peace with that, and I'll go on to the next auction because there will be lots of tickets available in the future.
But there were some other sales kind of surprised me. I don't know if you saw any of those on eBay. The Rock debut sold.
Yeah, I saw
11,000, which I was like, that's a pretty, I may went for more back at the peak, but that's a pretty good price. Highest graded. It's super bland, but it's like, damn, 12,000. Okay.
I don't know anything about this, and I don't know how many there are.
There's like 6 or 8 graded.
Is there that many? Was it an event that people would have?
Well, it was a Survivor Series. It was he was like Rocky Maivia, this guy that, son of former wrestler trying to build up. He wasn't The Rock, but it was, just his first appearance.
But I also heard that there was that's maybe a little controversial because maybe he was.
Like wrestling, they have what they call dark matches where they're not on TV, and then they're trying to like work on their craft.
And
this was like his big unveiling at Survivor Series, like Rocky Maivia, son of blah blah blah, coming down the ring.
Got it.
Even something like this is old beat up. The band is out on the field, went for $1,300.
I saw that. I was following that too. I have one that's slightly better grade, but also really poor. And I think I paid about $80 for it on eBay maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And so yeah, that was a really strong price for that.
Yeah. So like all these examples, this Tom Brady debut, this box office. It says it went for $13,000. This is 130point.com if you want to see what best offers go for. You can also use TerraPeak on your eBay account if you have one. But, from what I've seen through all this stuff, it's like, man, things have really kind of stabilized. And, I think if you do collect and you're, I don't want to buy things that are just going to go rock bottom. I feel like all these things should make you feel a little better about your collection.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more. That was kind of one of the tests of this auction and what we were going to be able to see because it had such a wide range of tickets and different genres. And I agree with you. I think that it's kind of stabilized and a little bit more predictable and strong. And so better than a lot of sectors in the card market. I can assure you that. But that's a different story.
This is a fun eBay. I sent some offers out, and this is what one guy responded to me. Come on, Mike, you run a YouTube show about ticket stubs. You know damn well the ticket market is way down, yet at the prices on your tickets are the same from the height of the ticket craze. Shameful.
I think he's got a point. Some of your prices.
That's what I was gonna say, because you and him. That might have been you messaging me. So I was like, I wanted to bring this up. You always say that listing prices are too high.
Yeah.
But the man Justin Sutterfield once said, everybody's looking for a deal. So what I like to do is price my tickets, high with best offer, and then let's work a deal. Let's do something. But
yeah, that's and that's the risk, because when I don't have an eBay store and I don't sell anything, but I look all the time and I'm always coming across things that interest me. But there's different levels of interest. If something's priced really, really high and it kind of moderately interests me, but not really, then I'm just going to leave it, because I don't want to bother with that kind of negotiation. It's only the things that I come across that I really, really want, if it's priced really high, that I might engage. So if you take that approach, which there's nothing wrong with it, I'm just kidding around. It's fine, but you might be losing some.
Well, I don't price it insanely high. Like this example, this Jordan, first finals game 3. I priced it $2,000.
Yeah.
And I think I sent it out for $1,750. I think a similar ticket on Golden or one of the auction houses went for like $1,500, $1,200, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I'm not trying to get, if somebody wants to pay me $2,000, I'll take it, but I'll send out an offer for $1,750 and see what kind of, some guy offered me $1,000.
And that's fair. I get that all the time. And I as a buyer, I fish for those kinds of offers whenever it's something that's kind of close. Then I'll just follow it and see if they make an offer, and then I'll come back with what I'm actually willing to pay for it. And a lot of times I get a deal that way. So that's not. I'm talking about if you have that and you have it priced at $8,995,
right?
Something like that. Where
then again, I think I've had one of those before, where it's just like, what, I want to put this out there. So if people say, hey, what do you have to trade? I go, well, go to my eBay account, but I don't want to sell that ticket. I only want to trade for it. So I may have something like that stupid high.
Yeah.
That could be another reason.
Yeah. But then if I was on the other side of that and I went to your eBay account, and I saw that you wanted it for whatever price, and I would assume that that's the value you would want in return.
True.
And so but it wouldn't stop me from negotiating, because I would tell you what I thought it was worth, and hopefully you're not offended and we can get a deal done. There's a lot of people get offended, and that's, I'll avoid dealing with certain people just
People
because of
need to
that.
stop. Just relax.
Yeah.
Just tickets. What are we getting offended about?
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
just having fun. It's a collector world.
Right. Yeah, we're all friends.
I know another thing you want to touch upon is, man, check pop reports on these auctions.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. The Jackie Robinson first home run, Heritage Auctions listed as a pop 1 of 1. And if you go to the pop report, do you have the pop report up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it is a 1 of 1, but it's the paper residue 1 of 1. The non-paper residue 1 of 1. So the good condition one, there's 2. So they list it as a 1 of 1 because technically, yeah, it is. It's the only one with paper residue. I mean, this is just, I don't know if it was somebody who writes these things that it just they just searched for it and found.
Right.
I'm not saying that they did this intentionally, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of oversight when it comes to editing these things, and maybe there should be, because it is misleading.
Well, they're banging out probably 100 of these in a row, and man, we just got to write. Well, all right, one, okay, done. Right.
Yeah.
Next.
And the people writing them don't necessarily know about, they're not experts in this particular, genre of collectible maybe, and so they just do it quick and get it done. So I don't know how it works, but that is misleading, and it's I guess it's really important to read carefully and do your own research on a ticket that's going to be pretty expensive that you want
no doubt. Sure. All right, I got some pickups I want to show. I don't know if you have any.
What do you got
from PSA? Some other things I bought. I think I talked about this last week. I touched on that. I got that Dion signed auto debut, $500 deal. Showed this, the Elway one. Got that back. I got this one back. I got the reholder, the autogram debut.
I saw that up on eBay.
The price that was one of those, like, let's make a deal maybe.
That's great. So they confirmed what you thought, and so
it's cool. It's such a cool ticket, so check it out. I got my Elway stuff back. I got that the drive came out pretty good, little not really centered, but is what it is. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I made a deal, or I bought something from our good friend Justin. This is one. I said I'm not a debut guy. It's got to check a lot of boxes, but I bought this one. It was a Randy Moss debut.
Oh yeah.
And this is why I bought it. Okay, so it's Randy Moss, right? Mm-hmm. Iconic receiver. Top 5 maybe. Everybody beloved. Very unique. He'll always be remembered as you got mossed, right? Somebody got mossed. Always come back to him.
Yeah.
Pre-barcode, less than 10 on the pop report, and it was a home ticket. It has the cool Vikings, has a logo and the name, and he had a hell of a game. He had 2 TDs. It was a breakout. Like, holy hell, this guy is going to be unbelievable.
Oh yeah, and he was really hyped coming out of college too.
Right.
He was just going to change the position of the wide receiver, and kind of did. Just the big, fast wide receiver.
And I bought this on Golden. This is a Georgia National Championship ticket. This is a good example of something that's a post-COVID ticket that I don't think there's going to be like hundreds out there. You had to get it from the printed box office. Yeah. And it was like $100. I was like, man, there's going to be a Georgia fan out there who's going to pay way more than that. And plus, it's a national championship ticket. And it's, those auction houses that are low dollar amounts, like, things slip through the cracks. People aren't looking. There's not a lot of eyeballs on some of those lower end tickets where a Georgia fan will see it. But if you put it on eBay, sooner or later, it's going to be a Georgia fan like, oh my God, I got to have that. It's freaking Georgia's first national championship in 30 years. So it's right here.
Hopefully it's priced right.
Come get it. $10,000, Sean, just for you.
Yeah. No, $9,995.
That's right. You don't want to have the 10. You want to make it the 9,995.
Yeah.
And this one I think is really cool. I might have overpaid for it. It was part of the Moss purchase. What's the Kurt Cobain died on April 5th, the day he died, the concert ticket. And it's really nice. It's a PSA 7. This concert never happened, but it's just basically the date of his death, which I think is really cool. I feel like more of these will come out because people didn't go to the concert, so they probably just have them and just left them there.
But what was the venue? Where was it at?
It was in the UK. The Academy venue.
Yeah. So I wonder what the attendance, because so if it might
I think the attendance was only like 4 or 5. It was a smaller venue, kind of like a theater.
Small venue, yeah.
But I feel like anything Nirvana is just, I love the band. Some people don't like them, but they are super iconic.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I bought that one.
Yeah.
What about you? Any big purchases?
I had just one so far. I have some other stuff that I'm working on, but this is part of my Hall of Fame debut collection. This is Raleigh Fingers debut. Picked this one up on Boogers. I don't know if you saw it posted there, but
nice.
This gets me to 50 Major League Baseball Hall of Fame debuts. So, and this one's in great condition.
So, where do you think you rank with other Hall of Fame debut collectors?
Well, probably third. There's two. There's one on the registry that's just incredible. I think he has like 72 or 74 or something like that. And then there's at least one other collector that I know has a superior collection than mine. But
I feel like baseball debuts are the best debuts, because football can just be garbage mop up.
Yeah.
Basketball is usually the opener. But baseball has that cool randomness, which could be in the middle of the year with a attendance.
Yeah, that's how this people. Is. September 15th. And it, nobody would have saved this because the other thing about baseball is that the debut is a more celebrated event than in football. No, it is important and people pay attention to it. But in baseball, it's a big deal. It's a big deal to the player. It's a big deal that in the first hit. Whenever they get their first hit, they throw it out of play, and I don't know. It's kind of a special moment.
It's also, I think, because you don't see these guys like you do for college football. College baseball is a nothing, and minor league is nothing. So you hear all this talk about this amazing player. This is the first time people really get to see him play. Unlike a superstar college football player, everybody's seen him play 100 times.
Yeah.
But baseball, it's like, he finally made it to the show. It's such a big jump from the minors. Where college football is like, well, you're playing in front of 110,000 in college. Now you're playing in front of 80.
Yeah.
The minors, it's like you're playing in front of 2,000.
In football and basketball is more predictable because it's always the first game of the season, or almost always the first game of the season. So it's like a little easier to find that way. If you're hunting on eBay or whatever, you're kind of just looking for the first game of whatever season, and then you go look and see if there's anybody who made their debut that game. But in baseball, it's a little more difficult. It's a challenge because it could just be some random day in the middle of the season. So that's why I like them.
Well, Steve Severenti agrees, says, I am so glad to see you guys giving props to MLB debuts. Too many talking heads say they aren't a big deal. You're talking.
Watch our show. It's pretty much what I'm all about.
That's your thing. Let's go through some of the questions. How much does the PSA Ohtani debut sell for now? I think I saw some go for about $3,000 or $4,000. I know Heritage had one or two. Check out those comps. If you want to see what things went for, go to Heritage, look for completed, completed sales, sold tickets, search it, check it out.
And it kind of depends on the version because there's the box office and the season ticket version too.
Really enjoy your show. Can you list the 5 tickets you dream of finding?
5?
Maybe give me 1 or 2 that you've been looking for that you can't find.
That I can't find. I would just off the top of my head, I would love Eddie Goodell's one at bat. I don't know if he's the 3'7".
Oh yeah.
Player. He had one at bat, walked. I forget what year it is. I think it's 1945, St. Louis Browns, something like that. I would love a ticket to that game. Another one is Satchel Paige's final appearance. he came back. I think he was 58 years old, and he came back and threw 3 shutout innings at 58 years old for the
Yeah,
Kansas
that's
City
wild.
Athletics.
I've kind of been wanting to see that, but I feel like
I've never seen one, but I would love to find one. Those are 2 that just off the top of my head that I would love to find. But every baseball collector would go crazy for those ones. I don't know. I can't think of any more off the top. What about you?
Off the top of my head is the Mavericks championship ticket. I feel like there's something weird floating around. I saw like the Pop Report has Coach Carlisle's ticket or something weird like that. A Dirk debut, but it was in Seattle, I think. And I don't want no weird looking Seattle ticket. Maybe a box office.
Was it a first game?
Yeah, it was the opener. But I think it was the strike season where they started real late, or the lockout season. I haven't seen one of those. But yeah, off the top of my head, that's kind of what I would want to see. Yeah. 23 Airness, your number one fan. Where do you each feel the market on tickets is headed? Will pricing go back down to the Sean era of collecting, or spike back into the Mike era?
We have different eras.
We kind of do.
I think it's going to be right in between, don't you? Where it's
I think it's now that slow, steady appreciation. You know, the crazy speculation days are over. I think where you buy one ticket and sell it 3 months later for double the price. Yeah, granted, you can find an amazing deal and do that, but something obvious like buying something on an auction and then putting it on the same auction. Yeah, I think those days are over.
I think I feel like we might not be at the bottom, but it's pretty close where it's kind of stabilizes and then it just kind of starts to be back in my era how it was.
Right. Just more normal. But you know, if the economy really goes in the tank, I think everything is going to go down again, and people are going to start selling.
Yeah,
money.
That's true.
You lose your job, and one of the first things you're going to sell is your tickets.
Yeah.
Feed the Cat claims I had to buy the Mathewson as I have the seat next to it. Feed the Cat. We need to know who you are.
Yeah. So I there's a couple others out there. So I guess, yeah, that's cool.
Thoughts on CCG grading tickets? I've seen some on eBay recently.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I tried to look them up, figure out what was going on there, and it doesn't. I didn't find anything that struck me as really credible. So I would say that it's not a terrible thing, but you'd have to assume that it's just kind of like buying a raw ticket. You look at it. If you buy a raw ticket, you don't know for sure if it's authentic. You don't know for sure if it's, what the grade is or anything like that. So if you look at it and you're happy with it, you buy it. It's the same sort of thing with this. Did you see any of those?
No, I haven't seen any of those.
Yeah, they popped up in what I looked for, and I was curious about it, but I didn't find anything that made me, want to actually submit or I think it's a grading company that has, they grade other stuff too, but then they just added tickets to it. So who knows? It's the same as buying a raw ticket as far as I'm concerned at this point.
Dang, it's cold.
Is that why is that bad? You buy raw tickets for almost the same price as what you would a slab ticket, so it's not a terrible thing.
Oh, it just sounds like you don't have much respect for CCG grading right now.
Well, yeah, I guess it's kind of like all these card companies that pop up that nobody's ever heard of that are grading cards.
Right. There's like a dozen of them, but yeah, I'm sure they'll go by the wayside, the vast majority of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to see SGC or, somebody else really throw a lot of weight behind some ticket grading.
Yeah, it seems like there's some momentum in that direction, and I hope it happens, and because I think that it's absolutely needed. I think everybody who collects tickets and cares about getting them graded or authenticated would love to see a competitor.
I feel like ticket guys would be. Do you think they'd be open, or if they came out with hey, you get your tickets graded for $15, you think a lot of people would, or they'd still go the PSA route?
If it was a reputable company, I absolutely would.
I think so too. If you,
the only thing that would stop me in some cases is like the Hall of Fame debuts. I would get those with PSA still because I'm on the set registry, and the set registry is really the only thing that keeps me doing that. But otherwise, any of my other tickets, I would just send them, especially if it was a reasonable price like that, $15.
Yeah, I think lower dollar tickets, and plus, a lot of thing about the grading with the tickets is having that nice look and having the commentary and the defining what that ticket is.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can look at a ticket, and 9 times out of 10, you're like, what is this for?
Yeah. Or if you're showing them to somebody and they, it's like it's almost like it's framed with kind of a story on it, and when it's graded that way, and it has the information.
Right.
So if it's a lower value ticket, it would be a great way to go. I think I would definitely use it. So
agreed. Well, that was all the questions. I don't know. That's pretty thorough investigation of the Heritage auction.
Yeah.
I'm thinking next week we'll probably have a guest. See if we can line somebody up.
Let's do it.
I know the next big auctions is Leland's as P Daddy G68. They got some nice ones.
Yeah.
They do have some nice. I haven't really looked. I know they got that Wilt. I haven't really dug into it. Have you dug into that auction?
I looked through it. I have some consignment in it.
Whoa. You got some
just cards,
just
cards, not tickets. Because so I was looking at it to see if there was anything I wanted to go for, because I'll have some consignment to pay for it. So
sure,
but there's some good stuff in there. Yeah.
Feed the Cat says, can you note again those 2 websites that list ticket sales results? I sure can. Let me get over to them. The first one is 130point.com. Let me see if I can blow that up. So 130point.com, like the number 130point.com. There it is, 130point.com. And the other place you can go to is if you have an eBay account. I don't know if I want to go too much on my account. You can look at all my high prices maybe. But if you go to performance, or actually research, my bad. If you go to research on your eBay account, and you can research anything. So if I type in Tom Brady ticket, last 365 days, and it'll pull up basically all the sales.
Do you have to have a store to do this, or can anyone do it?
I don't know if anybody. You have to have an account. I know at least a seller's account, I'm assuming. But I don't know. Anybody might be able to do it. But it has, basically average sold price, the date sold. So those are the 2 great outlets. Another great outlet is worthpoint.com, but you have to have a membership. That basically is kind of goes back for many, many years. I like to look at it and say, is there many Magic Johnson debuts out there? And they'll show you maybe Magic Johnson debuts that sold 8-10 years ago that, oh my gosh, I never knew that was out there, but it has sales from long, long, long time ago. And it's kind of a nice little tool to use.
That's a paid service?
Well, you can actually see the sales, but you can't see the prices unless you can't get more info. It may just show this, but if you click on it, it'll be like, oh, can you get more info on the sale, where it's sold, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But sometimes you want to know how many of these actually exist that aren't on the pop report. Sometimes you can see some on eBay that, oh wow, I never knew that that was on there. So another nice little tool for all you ticket lovers out there. But that's the things I like to use.
Yeah.
But I think that's about it. Anything else to share?
Well, I saw Justin's question asking me about the Julio contract that you quickly got out of there, but so I absolutely love it. That's the best thing that the Mariners could have done. Thrilled with it. I think that if you're a Mariners fan, you having him assured to be on the team for probably 14 to 18 years, that's pretty cool. He's probably only going to play for the Mariners in his career, and that's what that contract does. So
yeah, I'd be fired up too. I mean, Mariners' future looking good.
Yeah.
And Justin said, "Hey, feed the cat. You need to have Feed the Cat as a guest. He has incredible tickets. Feed the cat.
Feed the
Who
cat.
are you mystery man? I need more info. I need to see these tickets."
Yeah.
So maybe we'll hear from Feed the Cat. I know Justin. He knows everybody, so I'm sure he knows Feed the Cat.
Cool.
Well, all right. It's a good full hour 15. Like I said, try to get maybe a guest on next week and see where the ticket world takes us.
Outstanding. Good talk. I'll talk to you next week.
All right. And Pete, I said your price for beer will go up at the stadium now with that Julio.
Already has. I almost paid $20 for a beer at the stadium. Because now they charge tax. They charge tax on top of the regular price, and they expect you to tip.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Damn inflation.
All
right. We'll wrap it up. Good to talk to you again.
All right. See you.
All right. See you later.